So there's a rise among people learning Ibrit or Hebrew. Now, these people are usually also Torah observant or a part of like a Hebrew roots movement or something of that nature, basically. Regardless of the reasonings, there are more and more people this year being called to Hebrew, and it's just increasing, learning biblical Hebrew as well, not modern Hebrew, because it's different. Why is that? Because for a lot of the people who aren't learning Hebrew and don't feel any desire towards that at all, they're on the other end of the spectrum that feels like it's completely pointless. Why would you waste your time? That it takes away from the focus of the glory of the Besorah, the good news, or the gospel, as how a lot of people know it. That we who are trying to learn Hebrew and study the languages of the original text are somehow making it an idol, as if, I don't know, that makes us better, or I don't know. But people don't like it for whatever their reasons are. For most people, I would wager that it's simply just not understanding, though. So I guess this video is just for people who want a little bit of insight into why I'm learning Hebrew, why so many people right now are being called to learn Hebrew. Because here's the thing, it's the mother tongue. When Yahuwah spoke the universe, universe is one spoken phrase, or one sung phrase, could even be sung. When Yah spoke light, let there be light, into existence, it was Hebrew, the language that he spoke. For people who understand sacred geometry, mathematics, kind of the building blocks of this reality, Hebrew manifests mathematically the same way sacred geometry or the Fibonacci sequence is well known in most circles. Either way, it was the Hebrew language that brought life into this world. It is the Hebrew language that encodes our reality. It is the Hebrew language that keeps all things together. It is the Hebrew, you have no idea the depth of the wisdom of the Hebrew language, but this is the original tongue. I'm going to share with you why I believe right now Yah is choosing to bring this language back among his children. So I just recently finished Jubilees, so a few of my videos that I'm going to do are going to be about some of the things in Jubilees. This particular subject comes from Jubilees. So in Jubilees, what is happening right now, I'm going to read from chapter 12, a little segment, but what is happening in Jubilees is there's an angel of Yahuwah, or an angel of the presence, speaking with Moses and recounting the creation story. And in this particular section, it's talking about Abraham. So this again is the angel talking to Abraham about, or talking to Moses about Abraham. He says, and Yahuwah Elohim said, open his mouth and his ears, that he may hear and speak with his mouth, with the language which has been revealed. For it has ceased from the mouths of all of the children of men, from the day of the overthrow of Babel. And I opened his mouth and his ears and his lips, and I began to speak with him in Ibrit, in the tongue of creation. So after the Tower of Babel, after the flood, Abraham had to be pulled out of the land of Ur of the Chaldeans is what it's called. And so he was pulled out of this land that was not following Yahuwah. So he was not speaking Hebrew. And part of Abraham's being removed out of the world and being set on his own righteous path to be the father of the Ibrit people, the Hebrew people, it involved him being taught the tongue of creation. It was one of the first things that Yahuwah did for Abraham upon removing him from, like calling him to his purpose, was giving him the mother tongue. And I don't know, it kind of seems like how, for it had ceased from the mouths of all of the children of men, is also relevant today. Because I'm working with my first language as English, which is the most broken, dead, evil word, spirit inhabiting spell casting language. It's a dead language, and it's intentionally structured to be such. I'm working with that as my primary language. So, learning Hebrew, being called to learn the Ibrit tongue, has opened my mind, expanded my consciousness. It has brought me closer to Yahuwah, to his heart, to the Ruach HaKodesh. It has given me a light that I did not have before. And yeah, so for those who are confused, it's not a salvation issue. You don't have to learn Hebrew to be saved. However, there is a depth of understanding and there is a depth of friendship with Yah. And that's what Abraham was, right? He was a friend of Yahuwah. There's an element of friendship that doesn't come unless you know him by his name and you can speak his language. And people will say, oh, God, God's not limited to what language we use. You're right. He's not. But he also created the Ibrit tongue to contain more power and authority than all other languages. It is his language. It is in our nature. It is in all creation. Regardless of how it makes you feel, truth is truth. While it makes me uncomfortable to know that the English language, my primary language, has less authority in this physical reality, it doesn't change the fact that it's the truth. And learning the Hebrew tongue, learning Ibrit, just increases my connection to this reality, my connection to my Creator, my connection to his word, his Torah. It might not make sense to you. It may not be meant to make sense to you. Some people are called to certain doors and to certain roads, and some people are not, and that is just okay. Maybe you're not meant to learn the Hebrew tongue because you're meant to do something else with your life. It doesn't make you any less. But if you are called to learn the Hebrew tongue, it is so worth it. So I guess I will end this video by saying shalom and haba to you all, which is peace and love. But just like how the Hebrew language has depths and richnesses of meaning that English doesn't have, shalom doesn't just mean peace. It means balance and wholeness, lacking nothing, complete. Shalom, completely peace. And ahaba, love. It's not romantic. It can't be given and taken. Ahaba is freely given flow of energy from the Father of all things, who is love himself. And ahaba is I am sharing his love with you. It's something special. So, shalom, ahaba to you all.